Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is the book His Redeeming Love. This is chapter 99, and this is called Produce His Redeeming Love, book one, part 1. So I got the ideas for the chapters of His Redeeming Love, and I started to record the chapters of His Redeeming Love, chapter 1, around about the same time I started to record the chapters of His Redeeming Love. I got an idea to do a book on prophetic evangelism made simple, a book called Prophetic Evangelism Made Simple, and that was going to be a book about how to go and witness to strangers on the streets by using the gift of prophecy. And essentially that's just walking up to a person and saying, "Excuse me, I have a gift, and from time to time that gift allows me to get a message for a person, and today I've got a message for you." And then I'd launch into a very specific message about who they are as a person and what stage they were at their life and something God wanted them to know. And it always takes people by surprise and really blesses them. And so in my life, I've done about 7,000 prophecies like that in the last 10 years, and so I'm very good at it. So I had the idea to record videos to write prophetic evangelism made simple. There's another book on online called Prophetic Evangelism by Mark Stibb, Stibbe, and that's a very good book, that book called Prophetic Evangelism, and I've read the book twice and thoroughly recommend it to everyone who would like to witness with the gift of prophecy. But I decided, and God decided, that the world could do with another book on prophetic evangelism, and so I started to record that book the same as my His Redeeming Love book. So I used to do 5 chapters of one and then 5 chapters of the next, and 5 chapters of one and 5 chapters of the next. So around December 2012, when all this was happening, I was told that I was volunteering for too many hours, and they also had an issue with me being in the shop talking to people too much and wanting to interact with people too much, and so they wanted to limit my hours in the shop, and they said they had a new job for me downstairs, and I got a bit upset with the fact that they thought I was talking too much, and I love to talk, and I was a people person, and so from the sign of this book and how many pages it is in part 1 and part 2, or the completed book that will be together in one book at one stage, you'll see that I don't mind talking and I don't mind sharing things. And so I was a bit disheartened that I was told that I was talking too much. But anyway, I was yet to find out the new job they had for me. I had new pastors that had been pastors of the church for the year, and their names were Mitchell and Robin. And Mitchell had become a good friend, and Robin had become a good friend. And when I got downstairs the next day and they told me about the new job, they said that they'd arranged with head office for me to do a coffee station where I'd make serve coffee, tea and hot chocolate to the people that come into our community centre, which are homeless people and disadvantaged people that come in for welfare assistance and shower in our centre, and homeless people and get cheap meals for lunch for $2, and they're all just disadvantaged people. And they said that they want me as many days of a week as I can to serve hot chocolate and coffee and tea in the afternoons. And I decided that I wanted to spend some time making my videos for my 2 books, and so I told them that I'd work 3 days a week rather than 5 and have 4 days a week off. And so they agreed to that, and so the next week I started to do coffees. They did a blackboard on the front of the coffee station, and it's got written on there, "Chat with Matt," and that's what it was called. And everybody who's seen the sign saw free coffee, tea, and hot chocolate written there. And so a lot of strangers come up to me and would say, "Are you Matt?" And I said, "Yes." And they'd get a coffee, and about 10% of the people would stay and just stand there and chat, and I had the ability to talk to broken-hearted people about their lives and serve them a coffee and just chat with them. I used to enjoy talking to strangers in my taxi, and you understand from my previous book that you realise Redeeming Love Part 1, you'll realise that I really enjoyed talking to people and talking to strangers, and so I enjoyed chatting to people, and a lot of the people in our community centre come back every day or a number of times per week, and so as you serve them coffee, each of them start to stand there and talk to you, and you develop good relationships with people, and it gives you a tremendous opportunity to minister in God's love and compassion to everybody. And it got me emotional. I shared in a previous chapter when I got my community treatment order lifted that I walked home in tears, and I think a number of times I've been emotional as I've thought about the job that Robin decided that she'd create for me. The Matthew that they had in the shop that was talking too much, they decided that Matthew could never talk too much, serving coffee to homeless people, and as long as they wanted to chat and stay there at the coffee station, he could chat to them all day long. And so I was so happy that Robin decided to create a job just for me, and so emotional. I'm emotional as I even share this, that I never thought once I lost my taxi license and wasn't able to drive taxis again because of the sexual act of indecency that happened to the girl at Tamworth. I wasn't able to have a taxi license. I never thought I'd find a job that was as satisfying as driving a taxi, talking to strangers and talking to people. And I found that Chat with Matt was the second best job that I've ever done in my life, and it's amazing. If you ever go to my website, you'll find that Mitchell, my pastor, has got a reference there, an endorsement for me as a person, and he writes from the heart about me and says some nice things about me. Mitchell and Robin have been tremendous pastors. I shared once before when I was talking about Sarah that it's all very well to know Jesus and have visions of Jesus and talk to Jesus in heaven, but Jesus is up in heaven, and when he comes he looks like a ghost, and you can't fully interact with him like a human. And yet it's good to have a human Jesus. It's good to have a human touchstone where you can just touch God himself. And Mitchell, to me, has become a human Jesus. When I was struggling with porn, and I told Mitchell that I was struggling with porn, there was no condemnation with him. There was no judging me. There was just, how can I help you with this? And he wanted me to become accountable to him and tell him how I was coping with it. At one time, I took my computer that I access porn with. I've got 2 laptops. I took my PC into his office, and that I wouldn't access porn on my Apple because I don't want to destroy the programs with viruses. So I'd never access porn on my Apple, and I took my PC in there, and he had it for 6 weeks, and I didn't view any porn because the computer I viewed it on was in his office. But I needed Microsoft Word, and I needed my PC to process my books and do my editing, and I couldn't do them in at the community centre. So I got my PC back, and the porn started again. But Mitchell just loves me. You could tell him that. I went to see a girl and had a dirty massage where they performed masturbation at the end of the massage, and I could tell him clearly that that's what I'd done the day before, and his reaction wouldn't be judgment, it'd be a hug. And if my eyes filled up with tears with the shame and the guilt for doing it, his own eyes would fill up with tears. Often when Mitchell preaches, he uh, he he doesn't look at me, because often when he's preaching, my eyes fill with tears, and he knows if he looks at me and sees the tears in my eyes, he'll start to tear up, and it'll affect his preaching. He doesn't want to be crying when he's preaching. So Mitchell is a tremendous friend, and one that simply just didn't have the time to write the foreword for this book, and I pray that he'll be able to write a foreword for me in another book one time. But I encourage you to visit my website and read his endorsement, and at least you'll see something he's written. So I started to produce His Redeeming Love. I started to produce Prophetic Evangelism Made Simple, and I started to serve coffee with my own chat with Matt in December 2012. So God bless.